Share screen. What's up, Adrian? I can't hear you. What you do to your
I say,
volume?
what's up? What's up? What's up? What's
That's
cracking?
what's
Yeah.
where your little move. You
Oh,
know
there you go. Little wiggle
what's
with it.
up, face tubers, Facebookies, YouTubers, and Twitter fingers? What's up, y'all? Welcome to Hootie Who's Finest Talk Show. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit your like button, hit your share button. We going up today.
Yeah.
What's up, Adrian? Look at
Oh
you.
man, just trying to figure it out. I had a rough day today, but I'm gonna bounce back.
Like always, it gets
Mm-hmm.
better, right? It gets
Yes,
better.
yes, indeed.
All right, all right. Well, I'm happy you got your laptop. If for y'all out there that don't know, Adrian is on his laptop. Come on now.
Oh yeah, it's working now. It's working now. I had a few technical difficulties, but it's always the operator. It's never like necessarily the technology is the operator, just knowing what to do. So I
Yeah.
figured it out.
Well, all right. Well, I'm happy you figured it out. I know it was something that you was working on and everything. But we got some little stuff going on. But before we get to the picks, tell me, what is the weather like in the Bay Area out there?
Well, one thing about the weather out here, like I said, we got a lot of microclimates. So one moment it could be sunny and no clouds, and the clouds are rolling in. It'd be storming, raining, fog. They even gave a fog a nickname out here. It's called Carl. So the weather changes a lot. So right now it's kind of cool. That's pretty much the weather out here. It's pretty much cool on a daily basis out here.
Well, right now it got up to I think early 70s out here. So it's pretty warm, but we're about to go on a decline for next week. So pretty warm. So anybody got any lake fishing they want to do, this is a good time in KC to do it, because we hitting 70 tomorrow. And I'm excited.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Nice
buddy.
weather.
I'm excited about that. Adrian, I was
Hmm.
looking at our picks. Did you see our picks?
Yeah, yeah. So we had a few upsets. We had a couple of upsets. The game last night, I was able to watch the Denver game and watch Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos defense. Man, they pulled it off.
Yes, they did. So let's get into some football. NFL,
Yeah.
baby. Yes, yes, and yes. Well, one thing I have to give you your credit, Adrian. I have to give you your credit. You won on the picks last week.
Oh, I did? Okay, okay. I got some push-ups coming or something, huh? Yeah.
We never settled on a bet. We never settled. We
I
never.
thought that was our default, just push-ups. That's our
How
default.
many? You never. Okay, I'll give you one or two, because you never said how many. So you gotta put. You
Well,
gotta
I'm gonna
make
need them on call. I'm gonna need them on call.
You got to make it clear. No, but I'm proud of you, Adrian. You did real good on your picks. Let me go through them really fast, and then we're gonna give our picks for this week, this upcoming week.
Okay.
So for week 10, which was last week, out of the Panthers, the Carolina, and Chicago. We both picked Chicago and we both won.
Yeah.
Out of New England and Indy, you picked New England, I picked Indy, and I won.
Yeah, Indy won.
Indy won. Out of Houston and Cincinnati, we both picked Cincy and we both lost.
Yeah. That was an upset.
Mm-hmm. New Orleans and Minnesota, we both picked Minnesota and we both won. But
Mm-hmm.
this was an upset for me because I should have picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was at home. Green Bay played Pittsburgh. You went with Pittsburgh, Tomlinson,
Pittsburgh.
and Pittsburgh won.
Yes, they did.
Next, Tennessee and Tampa Bay. Tennessee Titans. We both went with Tampa Bay Bucks,
Tampa
and we
Bay.
both did too. They won.
The Bucks.
SF got their stride back, towed Jacksonville up, and we both went with them, so we both won. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland and Baltimore. This was, yeah. We both went with the Ravens.
Yeah.
And Cleveland.
Yeah, they pulled it off, man. They pulled it off.
Yep. Atlanta and Arizona. You went with Arizona. I went with ATL. Uncle Mark said somebody came back. AZ pulled it off.
Oh, yeah. Murray, he came back with a vengeance, you know. Yeah, he was ready.
Detroit and Los Angeles Chargers. We both knew the Lions was gonna beat the Chargers.
Oh yeah, that was a good game though. Very high scoring. I think that was a high scoring game of the season, right?
It was very high scoring, 41-38. So the Chargers, I mean, they put up a fight. The offense did their thing, and the defense just didn't do too much for the Lions. But anyway, New York Giants against Dallas. Dallas tore a new hole in New York Giants, and we both went for Dallas, so we both got that. Here was one, Washington at Seattle. We both went with Washington, and we both lost on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see the highlights of that game.
29-26. It was a close scoring game.
Yeah, I know it was a lot of games won by field goals this weekend.
Yes, it was. New York Jets against Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders pulled it off 16-12. I think you went with the Raiders. I went with the Jets, so you won on that one. And then Monday night. In Denver. We both went with Buffalo and lost. One thing I had to bring up to you about the Raiders, and you might not have heard, but you might have. You know, the Raiders have turned their organization around. Did I mention this last week? They got a new black head coach.
Yeah, I know they got a new coach.
They got a new female black president.
Oh, is that right? That's cool.
And they got a new head manager that's a black man.
Okay,
so they kind of made history within the NFL. Just want to give Raiders their props because they've made history within the NFL to have 3 black leaders leading the organization.
Super cool. Super cool. Yeah.
Go on, Raiders. Go on. Still don't like y'all on the field, but hey, whatever. All right. Mr. Anulu.
That's me.
Are you ready for your picks?
1, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1.
All right, let's go to week 11. Let's see what we got going on. Okay. So Thursday night, 2 days, we got Cincinnati at Baltimore. Who you got?
Cincinnati at Baltimore. Cincinnati is going to try to get some get back, but Baltimore, you know, they just came off a loss. And, you know, I like the quarterback. I like Lamar Jackson. I know you don't, so I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I already did my picks because I was waiting on you.
Oh. You're supposed to pick together.
Yeah, I was looking at some stuff.
So who are you going with?
My pick's not going to change according to what you got going on, sir.
But what? Who you got in the Cincinnati game?
Baltimore.
Okay,
Ravens
okay.
is them.
Cincinnati always give Baltimore a good game, so it's still gonna be tight.
I think so. I told you I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan, really. I mean, I love him because he's a black quarterback and he
Yeah,
does his thing when he does his thing. I don't think it's his fault. I think he's very talented. I just think he's in the wrong organization and he's not going anywhere because they just paid him all of that money. So I think I want to see his arm more. I want to see his arm more. He's not gonna he's not gonna get a long longevity in NFL if he keep running like that and don't have the proper blockers.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah, he's not.
I was worried about him with that, but
All right, so let's see. All right, who's next? Pittsburgh is at Cleveland. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Cleveland, man. I'm gonna go with Cleveland.
Okay.
I'm going
Where
with the
you
home
going with
team.
Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland. I'm gonna go with that defense again. I'm gonna go with the defense in the
Yeah, I'm
home
going
team.
with Cleveland too. They're at home, and I don't have any too much faith in Pittsburgh right now to win back to back like that in somebody else's territory. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland. Chicago at Detroit. No brainer.
Ooh, yeah, that's a rivalry right there. But Detroit, they're playing so good, offense, defense. I'm going with the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit on that. Chicago is not gonna beat Detroit at home. I'm sorry, they're not. Los Angeles Chargers at Green Bay. It's gonna be a good game.
Mm, yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with the Charger. I'm gonna go with the LA team. I'm gonna go with the home. With what I'm familiar with. I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
All right. Well, I'm going with
They're going
Green
that
Bay.
cold weather, but
I'm going with Green Bay for that
they'll make the
alone. The
adjustment.
Chargers, I'm not a fan of them. They're from San Diego.
Hey, Los Angeles now.
Okay, let's go. Excuse me. Okay, so Las Vegas Raiders is going to Miami. They're going to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
No brainer. Who's gonna go? Who's gonna win?
I think the Raiders like you said, this new start and gave them a kind of like that motivation. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one right there. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go with the Raiders on that. I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Okay. Well, that's good because I'm going with Miami.
Okay.
Listen, the Dolphins, yeah, they're not gonna. That's yeah. I ain't gonna even get into that with you, Adrian. I ain't gonna get into it with you. Okay, so New York Giants at Washington Commanders. Be enemy.
Well, I'm gonna go with Washington Commanders. Who you like on that game?
I'm liking Washington. The Giants is not really doing too much for me. They're not. I'm sorry, but they're not. And I told you I'm a fan of Washington's offensive coach. So when they play against a sorry team, I'm gonna go with them. Dallas is at Carolina Panthers.
Carolina. I don't know
What
who
you
you
think?
like. Who you got on that?
I think Dallas is gonna take it. Carolina's only won one game. Um, Dallas play good against sorry teams. Just
Yeah,
saying.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. When they had real challenges, they haven't been able to meet them.
Right.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I'm going with Dallas on that too.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, Tennessee Titans at Jacksonville. I chose the Jaguars. Then I don't think they're gonna lose two in a row.
Yeah,
Um, they're playing really good, and Tennessee is not playing good, and they're going to be in Jacksonville. So,
Yeah, yeah. I feel you on that. So I'm going with the home team. I'm going with Jacksonville on that.
all
The
right, now
Jaguars.
we got AZ at Houston Texans. Now, you was
Yeah,
telling me something
Houston.
about these Texans.
Well, like you say, once they lost to Deshaun Watson, and it was a lot of, um, I think some corruption was involved in like the upper management of the Texans, but
Mm,
I don't think they figured all that out. Um, and I'm gonna go with Arizona on that with this pick. I'm going with Arizona.
okay. So I chose Houston. I think Houston is trying to get something going. I think they're trying to make the playoffs, and I think they're trying to make a statement. And AZ is a good team for them to beat because they're not doing too much. But we'll see. Anyway,
We'll
Tampa
see.
Bay is coming to San Francisco Bay Area. Who you got? You already know who I got.
Yeah, I know you got Frisco.
You
Well, I got to go with a winner. I got to go with the winner. So I'm going with Frisco. I'm going with San Francisco.
you already know. We
Yeah,
coming back. We got something to prove. All
yeah,
right, let's
y'all
go.
got Debo back and another receiver. Yeah, y'all got some key players back.
Yep. All right, New York Jets and Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, Buffalo boy.
I took Buffalo in this.
Yeah, I mean it's like a no brainer to take Buffalo. It's just seeing all the turnovers that they had last night. It was just appalling. So
Yeah.
maybe they'll tighten that up. I'm going with the home team too. I know they're capable. They're capable on offense as well as defense. They just got to tighten things up, man. Hold on to that ball.
Yeah. They better. I mean, we coming into the playoffs real soon, and it's gonna be
Mm,
ain't
yeah.
no room for mistakes. All
Yeah,
right,
they
so
have no. Yeah.
Seattle is
Go
coming
ahead.
to our hometown to play Los
The
Angeles
Rams.
Rams. Yeah,
Oh, well, the
this is a
Rams ain't been making
division game
no
too.
noise. Yeah, the Rams ain't been making no noise or anything. I
They
haven't really been
soon.
hearing nothing about the Rams. They were one of those teams that was slated to like really, to go to the Super Bowl again, but it never made it. But I'm gonna go with the Rams on this one. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I still think they got enough um, to win.
Yeah, I
Who
wanted
you
to go
got?
with the Rams with this, but I went ahead and went with Seattle because I know Seattle is gonna beat the mess out of them. But I really want
Ooh.
the Rams to win because this is the one in my division, and Seattle is up there with us. So we're battling right now for that lead spot. But I already know Seattle
Yeah.
gonna win, so I ain't gonna play with it. Anyway, Minnesota
Okay.
Vikings is
Okay.
coming to Colorado, Denver.
Denver.
I got the Vikings.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a tough one, because they're at home, they're coming off a
Mhm.
win. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the away team. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I'm gonna go with the
I'm
Vikings
going
on
with
that.
the Vikings.
Yeah.
All right. And then we got Monday
No.
night. We got Philadelphia. This is another division game. Philly and KC. Is it? No, I
Ooh.
don't know if they're in the same division, are they? I know this is a big
Philly
game.
and KC.
I don't
Well,
think they're.
yeah, I know they got some a rivalry kind of going on. Maybe they are in the same division. I gotta start keeping up with that stuff. It's been so long. Um, I'm gonna ride with Philadelphia. That's my nephew team. I'm gonna ride with Philadelphia.
Well, you know I'm riding with my community out here. KC it is. KC it is, baby. But this one thing I could tell KC and Philly, this is gonna be a good game. This is gonna be like a Super Bowl
Yeah.
game. I'm feeling. Yeah, so our picks is in, Adrian. Okay. We sort of got a lot
Okay.
of we got some different, but we got a lot the same. I'm gonna send you out the spreadsheet, but we got some good ones.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Let me save this. All right. You ready for my thing about it? Dear Tree and Adrian.
Yeah. Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and put it out there. Let everybody know what's going on.
I'm laughing because this letter is something else. You know, I sent it to you, but then I didn't
Yeah.
read the whole thing through. And I just read the whole thing through before the show. And I was like, kind of, I
Mm.
don't know what he asking for. It's, you already got your answer here. But let me go on and read this.
Well, we're gonna try to give them a little bit more clarity. So yeah, let the audience, let everybody know what's in the letter, what we're dealing with.
Yeah, let me read this. Dear Tree and Adrian, my longtime girlfriend and I broke up
Mm.
recently. One of the reasons was because we didn't agree on a definition of cheating. She met a friend through work whom I met once, and what I saw and heard during that interaction screamed he was a sleaze who wanted to move in on my girl. I voiced my concern and asked her to stop seeing this friend, and she agreed. A week later, she renewed the friendship, communicating through Snapchat. For 6 months, she would have drinks with him, go places with him, and have conversations with him without telling me. She swears they never did anything physical. I had seen the signs from time to time. I noticed she wasn't where she said she would be. The car would smell like smoke. Well, good thing it smelled like smoke and not sex. And
Oh,
we
that just
were
covered it
growing
up, right?
and we were
Hey.
growing apart. All right. One day I finally had enough and we agreed to separate. Since our first day apart, they have been together. I have told her she cheated on me and I couldn't trust her. She insists she wasn't cheating. And I should have been more self-confident and trusting. When two people's definition of cheating differs, what do you do, Tree and Adrian? Who is right? Signed, Wondering and Callie. This is kind of this is I can laugh about it because one, he it seemed like they done already moved on. Two, I don't know why he needed come back, Adrian. I need you for this. Come back. Where did you go? Come back. But yeah, this letter, guys, was I'm just wondering, like, what kind of answer? What do you need? Who's right? Who is right? It doesn't matter. Let's start from the back end while we wait on Adrian to tap back in. Who is right in this situation? It doesn't matter who is right. The thing about it is, my thing about it is this. She has moved on. And it's time for you to move on. And it's a good thing that you went ahead and separated because the signs were there. It didn't take a rocket scientist. Hey, Chic Chic, I see you in my chat. Sheikah said she is wrong because if her husband asked her to stop seeing the friend, she should have done that because that's her husband. Right. But she didn't. She didn't. She didn't. And what she did do is started back seeing this dude. Let me bring Adrian back up. So Adrian, we
Yeah.
got we got Sheikah in the chat. Let's see what Sheikah says. Sheikah says she is wrong because if her husband asked her to stop seeing the friend, she should have done that because that's her husband. Sheikah said, but what if that was really just her friend and she wasn't doing anything with him? And what if it was really just her male friend? Well, for me, one thing is this. I honestly don't think I'm gonna just be real and direct because we
Yeah.
grown. I don't think
Hmm.
men and women like meet and become friends, just friends. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to work with someone and y'all work good together and y'all cool. But
Yeah.
in this letter, he's saying that they've been going out for drinks and going places outside of work. And I just don't, I mean, what do men and women actually like? How does that friendship develop? Like, because usually when a man and woman is newly meeting each other, it's on a basis of trying to get together, especially when you're doing something outside of work. What you think about that, Adrian?
Um. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And she's right too. Once the husband expressed his his concerns and that he wanted her to abstain from this relationship or friendship talky fingers that she got with this guy. She should have ended it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when men and women become friends, certain complications come up, particularly if there's a physical attraction, um, you know, certain gestures or touches or even a laugh it can be indicative of an attraction, and yeah, so that's a slippery slope, when you're married and you got a female friend,
Yeah.
that things can become complicated, um, yeah, but from my perspective, from everything he's saying, and of course, we can only go by what he's telling us. So, it seemed like, she's stepping out on him, it seemed like she's having more of a intimate relationship with this guy, whether it has went all the way to, say sexual intercourse. There's some intimacy involved, in my view, and particularly if she hasn't stopped the relationship, so I think she's stepping out
Right.
on
So,
him,
because and that's
or
and see when
considering
you
it.
yeah when you blanked out, that's what I was saying. We can dissect this from the back end for me because he's saying who is right. It doesn't matter who's right. What matters is that she's got another man. Period.
Yeah,
Clearly. And she's been had another man. Sometimes we as people, we just, I don't know, like we have to, some people have to see things and some people don't have to get hit over the head with a brick.
yeah,
Like it's clear enough that if you asked her, wondering in Cali, to stop seeing this dude, and she started back seeing him the next week, still communicating with him on social media. For the next 6 months, they going places together. She's conversating with him without you around. She's lying about where she is supposed to be. Clearly, she got a whole relationship going on with somebody else. And just because she's at home with you, don't mean that you're the only one.
yeah.
Um, And this is clear example where a lot of this stuff start at. And Sheik, I'm gonna read what you say, Sheik. But this is clear example where a lot of this stuff start at is at work. Is at work with people. People know the signs of when things is going on. You know what I'm saying? And he already knew the signs. So who is right? It don't matter who right. Both of y'all right. She clearly moved on to another man, and it's good that you separated from her, because to keep staying in a relationship and you know she's seeing another man don't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
So she could say, Tree, that's not true, because I've been friends with a guy since junior high school. He not my type. I don't like him. Dudes, but he is my best friend. And real shit, we never messed around. So it's possible. And let me just say that me and my best friend has no way I'm attracted to him. Okay, I agree with that part. You said one key word in this.
The
You
attraction, yeah.
said y'all been friends since junior high school, right? So y'all met when y'all was kids. And that's
Yeah.
possible. We all have, you know, you know, we all had best friends of opposite sex when you was a kid. You know, y'all played together, all of that. But as grown women and men, when you meet somebody now, nobody, no, I don't, and it's just me. This is my opinion. I don't think the opposite sex is approaching you to be your friend. Sorry, not. No.
Yeah.
It's some kind of attraction there as a grown adult that's making this person approach you. Now, y'all might end up being friends after you turn him down, or vice versa. You know, like I got a man, you know, and y'all end up being cool. But at the same time, the initial approach, somebody likes somebody with this initial approach. Grown-ups don't just approach each other talking about we finna be friends. That don't happen. What you think about this, Adrian? He's asking, what do you do?
Well, like so I remember I had a female friend. I met her when I was like 14. We were friends for years. We actually something else occurred, but and we fell out. But there was like she said, there was no physical attraction.
Right.
So that's kind of like one of the things that can bring people together. I'm not actually attracted to this man, this woman, so I can be her friend. It's more easy for me to talk to her because I don't have a physical attraction to her. And for me, there's always four key components to a successful relationship. And I think we talked about this, but the physical attraction, it must be there. So that's number one. There has to be some type of physical attraction. The finances, y'all have to have some type of common ground when it comes to finances. Mentally or psychologically, there has to be some type of connection. And then
Yeah.
spiritually, there has to be some common ground when it comes to all four of those dynamics in the relationship for me.
Yeah.
And so physical attraction is important. And one thing we know today, particularly when it comes to younger people, best friend is now a code word for a side piece, a mistress, a sneaky
Yeah.
link, or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's
Yeah.
their code word for a side piece, is a best friend,
Right.
and so and that's not taken away from I believe Sheikah and her best friend, but she isn't attracted to the guy. She's been knowing the guy since she was a kid, you know, and for our letter, for this guy. I mean, the writing is on the wall. It may be time to move on. If he feel that there's something to gang in a relationship, maybe they should go to a marriage counselor, talk it out, see if they can come back to center. But yeah, yeah, she's stepping out on him. She's having fun with with the other guy, and it's sad. I'm sad for him.
Yeah,
For your
it
wife to
is.
be not involved in a relationship, because if she was, she would respect him enough to end the relationship. But now she's doing things behind his back. Created some social media so she can talk to the guy.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's
communicate.
time for him to consider other options. To protect his own feelings.
Yeah, and to protect his own safety. Like HIV and AIDS is still out there, syphilis, all kind of stuff is still out there.
Oh
And
yeah,
to
yeah,
sum it up, Wondering and
true that.
Kelly, yeah, she don't respect her vows with you. So I think you did the best thing by separating from her. Um, and I think she's been cheating on you. Yeah, and bottom line, if a person is having, I don't believe in this adult friendship stuff unless you've been friends for a long time, and then even then it's some stuff because this friends that's been friends for a long time that been screwed back in the past, but ain't screwed, ain't wouldn't think about doing it now. So I just don't, and I think I don't believe in this friendship stuff. I don't. Just because one person is not attracted to the other one, don't mean that the other person is not attracted to that person. You know what I'm saying? Or
True that.
constantly,
True that.
catering to that person because of some kind of attraction to that person. So I think you did the right thing, Wondering and Callie. You don't need to know who's right or wrong. Y'all both right. She done moved on. It's time for you to move on because you don't deserve nobody that's gonna be stepping out on you with somebody that she worked with. Period. Point blank. You're never gonna be able to trust a person. She going off
Mm,
to work and she having drinks with the co-worker dude, work husband.
yeah.
All right, let's sum it up. She could say, move on, brother. That's right. It's a better one out there. I'm telling you, it's a whole bunch of women that's looking for a man that's not cheating, that's gonna love them, take care of them, be a helpmate to them, be a king, whatever they need. But it's a whole bunch of women out there that's not cheating on their men. So move on. All
Yeah.
right, all right. All right, Adrian. So we got the Delphi murders I sent you. What you
Yeah.
think
I saw that.
of these? Well, before
Well,
we get into it, hold on one second.
yeah.
Hold on one second, Adrian. I want to just play a little clip for the audience, only about 2 minutes of just to lay the foundation. Because what we want to do is I really want to get into the corruption part of what this judge is doing is kind of crazy. But the case is so huge that we got to lay the foundation for the people so they know
Yeah.
what the heck is going on. So uh let me share my screen in a second. All right, let's share this screen and we're going to show this just a little of court TV really fast of what's going on in the Delphi murders case. And this is an old clipping from um, court TV because they actually arrested somebody now. But let me just share this really fast.
February 13th, 2017, at approximately 1 o'clock p.m., 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German were dropped off by Libby's sister near an abandoned rail bridge in Delphi, Indiana. The two young teenagers were just going to walk around and hang out. They were scheduled to be picked up at 3:15 by Libby's father, but the girls never showed up. The family began to search and then called police. At approximately 12:15 p.m. on the next day, February 14th, the bodies of the two girls were found in a wooded area near the Delphi Historic Trail, approximately 1/2 mile upstream from the bridge. During the course of the investigation, police released this short video of the suspect, recorded on Libby's phone. That man has never been identified, and no one has been charged with the murders. But now, 5 years later, a warrant has been uncovered with
Was that it?
All right, all right. Let's get back. Let's get to it. So these two little girls, 13 and 14, disappeared.
I remember hearing about the story in 2017 and just, being super sad and just heartbroken by, the discovery of the bodies, and I remember the image of the guy, I remember the sketches. So I remember the case being broadcast on the news. So I didn't know they arrested someone until you sent me the information,
Yeah, so it's been 5 years, and they finally arrested someone, right? And the person that they arrested, no one knew about. Like, no one, I mean, he worked at a CVS out there in Delphi, Indiana. Delphi, Indiana is described as a little hick town. I think the population is all of 3,000 people.
Wow.
And so everybody knows basically everybody. However, it's also a meth capital. And it also have ties to this racial kind of, I want to say, skinhead group, whiteism group, some kind of skinhead group called Odinism. Have you heard of that before?
Not really. I've heard the name before, but not associated with white supremacy. I think Odin, that's some Celtic type reference or something like that.
Yeah, so after doing a little research on it, it's associated out there with white supremacy. Even the police officers have these badges on them, and they were wearing these badges when this first happened.
Wow.
Since the investigation and went on, they've taken the badges off because of the defense. So let's get into the corruption part of this. The guy that's Richard Allen, that's the guy that they arrested. He's a married man. He born and raised, I guess, in Delphi, and he works at a CVS store. No criminal background, no kind of like bad history of being evil or anything like that. Everybody that knew the man said he was a nice, kind, gentle man, right?
Yeah. And I know they questioned him back in 2017 and found no no reason to hold him or have him as a suspect. They actually had another guy, right? So the other guy seemed like the likely suspect. Yeah. But I believe he died or something. Didn't he pass away or something like that?
Right, true. So the guy that they should have had their sights on more was the person that the girl's body was found on his property. Older man on probation for DUI. He had actually asked somebody to lie about his alibi. But he claimed he wanted them to lie about the alibi for him because he was driving around. So he was
You all
driving.
right? Yeah,
No,
you froze up.
I'm gonna get you. No, but so the guy, the old man that died, so they were found on his
Yeah.
property. He was on probation for DUI and shouldn't have been driving around. So he actually asked somebody to lie for him about an alibi at this time because he said he was driving around and he didn't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that he had something to do with it. This guy that they got now, the corruption that's going around this case is so weird, Adrian. It's very weird. I've never seen
Yeah.
nothing like this before. So this guy had two appointed attorneys to him. Now they wasn't public defenders. What are the other attorneys when they're real attorneys? Well, not real attorneys, but is it state appointed attorneys when it's not a public defender?
Well, what they do, so it's basically, what is Gideon versus Ringright? For the law, you have a right to representation, right? And you have the right to effective representation. Though what they do in a lot of cases, what they will do, they will pay a private attorney to represent someone, rather than the public defender's office. So the court still will pay, or the state, taxpayers will pay for the attorney, but it will be a private attorney. And so that's like the only other option, rather than outside of, procuring your own private attorney.
Right. So that's what's going on. So what's going on in this case behind the scenes is pictures of the crime scene. First of all, the case in itself is just weird. One day we're going to tackle into it. The police, and I remember saying this, they didn't release like hardly any information. You have nobody, you have no suspect at that time. Why are you not releasing everything that you have for somebody to point out and see if they know this man? That girl videotaped this man for like 45 seconds, and it took them 2 years to release the video of this man. So the guy that they arrested, they interviewed him back then. He admitted to being up there during this time. He admitted to being up there. A lot of people go up there, I guess, used to go up there, but he admitted to being up there. They never looked into anything. There was a lot of other leads that they still haven't looked into, like the girl Libby, the 14, she was a year older than the other girl. She was on social media talking about how she's single, ready to mingle, and so she was actually talking to different dudes on social media, different grown men, after they went through her account. So how this is set up is that it's so far in the woods. It's like, and then the whoever the suspect is actually passed 2 other young women going to this scene. So it's like, if it was just somebody out to kill somebody, why didn't he get them first 2?
Yeah.
Why didn't he pass them to get to these other 2? So it's kind of like it's premeditated. Somebody lured them out there and was planning on meeting up with them. But this guy that they have, he says that now, Adrian, this is what I want to say that I've never seen. He's still fighting the case, but they have him in prison, not a county jail. And they're saying that they have him there because of for safety reasons. Have you ever heard of somebody fighting a case in prison? Never been.
That's possible. That's that's possible, just due to, like you said, this is a very small town. So the local jails, will be extremely, the inmates in there will be extremely, prejudice towards him just based on the nature of his crime or that he's charged with. So I see them possibly moving him, for his own safety to a more secure location, which is, prison is. They can more likely put him in, like a segregated housing unit or something like that. Just, based on for his protection, and maybe have limited resources in their own county jails. And one thing I do want to say is like you said, a young girl, Libby, her social media activities, her, maybe, seemed like she sent out some flirtatious texts or what have you. And, we're talking about that to maybe, to get to the bottom line, to see if there's another suspect. Not saying that she did anything wrong or she deserved to be attacked or murdered, what I'm saying, because of her activities online, though we are addressing it just to say, hey, there are other leads, there are other things that the investigators, the police, they should be looking at
as well,
for a possible suspect,
In addition, because she had an open social media line, and that's one thing that I want to say. I just feel so bad for the kids' families, because they're already going through the loss of a child, and then they have to go through this, living it out in the media, and then they got to go through this issue with the court system that I'm about to get to. This is a big issue right here. So
get into it. Let me hear about it.
The person that they have arrested for this, right? They got him a state appointed attorney, 2 attorneys. Now his defense is that these kids got killed by a cult, a Odinism cult. Now the crime scene pictures of these babies got leaked out by somebody that used to work for the defense team, right? Yeah. Somebody that used to work for the defense attorney came over to the defense attorney's office. The defense attorney stepped out to take a phone call. This man seen these pictures on a desk and took pictures of them, sent them out to podcasters. They turned it into the police. He did an affidavit, said the defense attorney had nothing to do with it, didn't know he was going to do that. He doesn't work for him anymore, and blah, blah, this. So the judge calls the defense attorney them into her chambers, right? And she basically tells them that this is gross negligence from them, and they either take themselves off the case, or she's going to go out into court and let everybody know that they have gross negligence, and she's removing them from the case. So she's giving them the option to remove themselves, or she's going to remove them. And she never stated what the gross negligence was. There is an affidavit from the person that said that this attorney had nothing to do with it. So at that time, one of the attorneys was present and the other one was by phone. They just basically said that they will remove themselves because they didn't want the judge to go out there and embarrass their client, the client. But they didn't want to remove themselves. Now, another thing is that the guy wasn't present in the chambers when this happened. So the judge came out and she just basically said that they are removing themselves, and she's appointing 2 public defenders to defend him, and they're moving forward with trial. Public defenders that she's appointing happens to be her friends, because they're on her Facebook page sharing family photos and everything. The defense, the old defense attorneys, they filed something with the Supreme Court against her, because to have her removed, because what are you doing? How are you gonna have this man that wrote a letter to her? The defendant wrote a letter to her saying that he wants these people to represent him. He don't know what's going on, but he wants them to represent him. He don't have any money, so they told the courts that this is where it gets to being a sticky situation. We're going to represent him pro bono. So now you know this. How can she, if you got a public defender and then you get a paid attorney, how can a judge tell you the paid attorney can't work for you?
Yeah.
And that's what she's done.
Well, you know that. I mean, the judge has like so much leeway to do something like that, to dismiss a person or this or that, you know. But it raises, you know, other issues, you know. So now, you know, this is a issue that the guy can file on appeal, the case, you know, which allow the case to drag on, or, you know, the defense attorneys, they could go to a higher court just above her
They
and,
did.
you know, ask for some type of remedy there. But it seems like the judge, you know, just took it personally, and, you know, I'm thinking the gross negligence is the release of the photographs, you know, but, you know, she has to show some type of direct involvement with the defense attorneys, that they released those photos and jeopardize or compromise the case in some kind of way. Outside of that, the judge, you know, should have reprimanded them. After the defendant, he still want these attorneys on his case, then there's no conflict there. So, you know, she should not overstep that and allow this defense attorney to represent the defendant, you know?
Yeah, well, she overstepped it, and she is strict on it, and she is. So they then took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court accepted it. They want to
Wow, is that right? That's kind of rare for the Supreme Court to accept the case
against the judge. Not only that, this is another thing. The Attorney General is not representing her. She had to get another.
So she's the Attorney General is not supporting this judge.
No.
The judge's decision. Okay.
Yeah, they're not representing her. She had to get a private attorney, and I think by either today or tomorrow, or the 17th, she has to reply to the she got to send in something to the Supreme Court. So this is huge, and a lot of attorneys is talking about this because it's unheard of. Like, if you're going to say that it's gross negligence, the emotion has to be. So here's another thing. When they was in chambers, the defense attorneys got them an attorney now, basically. So their attorney is asking for those records. She had the court reporter to get rid of all the records.
Yeah.
No records.
Wow.
So yeah, but see, that's why I say later we might dive deeper into this case, because remember, this is a small town. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And when you really look into this case, Adrian, the police did not do a good job with this case at all.
Yeah.
Like, these girls' bodies had little sticks over them, and the defense is saying that the sticks is representing a cult sign, how the bodies was displayed. Do you know the police did not collect the sticks for evidence?
Is that right?
The sticks were found on the bodies.
Yeah.
They didn't collect the sticks for evidence, Adrian.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, just like they muddled the whole crime scene. You know, when you tamper with the crime scene and, you know, you lose evidence, or even, you know, evidence that may be viable, is tampered with. It's inconclusive. You know, it just raised so many other issues and stuff for the prosecution. You know.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's just so weird. And then, so the defense is saying too, now the defendant, lastly, he got on the phone and he's been breaking down. This man is, you know, he's declared innocent. You know what I'm saying? Until proven guilty. We don't know. He could be the killer. He might not be the killer. We have no idea. But he's breaking down, and you can imagine. I can imagine an innocent man just getting thrown into this situation in prison, and all of this stuff, and his mind is playing tricks on him. So the defense said that the officers that's in prison that's been having on these certain patches, and they interviewed these officers, and they did say they wear these patches. He said that those officers threatened him and told him to call his wife and confess to this murder. So he called his wife and he confessed to the murder, but he said his life was at jeopardy. The defense team, the attorneys believe him. That's why they fighting so hard to get this man out of jail. But remember, this is a close town. These officers have admitted to being in an Otism cult. What this man has said, these bodies is positioned in a cult manner.
Yeah.
Ain't no telling what is going on with this mess. And then you got the judge involved. You got the defense attorneys that's really fighting for this man, and the judge is just throwing them off for gross negligence. Now, you and I both know, Adrian, photos get leaked. Things get leaked. Jailhouse phone conversations get leaked. But to directly throw an attorney off a case for gross negligence without even saying what the gross negligence is, and then threw the record away that you had the reporter in there with this, something ain't right about it, and the Supreme Court knows something ain't right about it. But yeah, they got some stuff going on, and this is why I say I feel sorry for the kids' family, because they not only dealing with their daughter's death, but they also got to deal with an ineffective judge and prosecution of their daughter's case. Because what are y'all doing? If this is the man, do things right, so these people don't have to go through a lifetime of appeals for this case.
Having to revisit it over and over and over again. You know, it's tough on the family and friends and everybody everybody involved. And the judge, from everything that I've read, everything you've told me, the judge overstepped her bounds. She, if anything that should have been maybe a reprimand, like I said, or some type of contempt of court, but to remove the attorneys against the client's will, that's a little overboard. And like you say, it didn't gain national attention, but now the Supreme Court has gotten involved, and which like you say, like we both know, that's very, very rare.
Very.
And, so I think it's a shame, because it can drag the case on for indefinitely, with the appeals and all the things, the misconduct. It can just drag the case on for years. So this man, he can be in jail for an indeterminate amount of time, and he may be innocent. We don't
know.
The family has to go through it, day in, day, month, and year after year after year, because they just didn't do the right thing. And that's my biggest issue when it comes to police misconduct, prosecutors misconduct, judge misconduct, is that you send people through this year after year after year, and now the case is not resolved because you didn't do the right thing. You didn't follow the law. What your tasked and paid to do is to follow the law. And to just to get a conviction and a pat on the back, and it's just it's a crying shame. But what people are willing to do just to pass the buck, or get a pat on the back, to send a person to jail, or for the rest of their lives, is it's a heartbreaking. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's a dang on shame. And then like I said, this is alleged. We don't know if the man did it or not, But until we have proof, until he have his day in court, he is presumed innocent according to the law. Am I correct, Adrian? He's
Yes,
presumed
yes,
innocent right now according to the law.
that's how the system work. The law work. Though we know from personal experience that it doesn't always go like that. They bring in false evidence, false testimonies, false identifications, just to get a conviction. And they still go home and sleep at night and play with the kids. Like, I can't see how a person with a real conscience can live like that. But the history of the country is told us that they can do some brutal things and justify it, in their own minds.
Yeah. Well, and that's what makes this metaverse thing so interesting and so great right now, is because it gives people a voice. It lets it makes me feel. That's why I love doing this show, because it makes me feel like we're not just screaming at the brick wall anymore. You know what I'm saying? Even if I only get 2 people to look at it, it's still out there in the world, and eventually somebody can see it that can help situations like this. Or you know what I'm saying? I'm just I feel so bad for the victim's family with all of this, because the prosecutors and judges are here for us. They're our attorneys. They're the people's voice.
Yeah, they represent the people. Yeah, they represent the people. Yeah,
you represent us. And then when you do things that's outside of the law, we can't get our own prosecutor to come in and fight for our kids. We can't get that. We depend on these people. And so I just think, like, in this case, I'm happy that the Supreme Court has stepped up. I'm happy that the defense attorneys is doing what they're supposed to do, because whether this man is guilty or not, he still deserves his he still have to go through the legal process. For even if he is guilty, allegedly, he still needs to go through that process for justice to be served for these children that has lost their lives. So, and I think it's something bigger to the case. I believe a lot of podcasters believe, a lot of investigators believe, and eventually it'll come out. Eventually, because when you got the Supreme Court in it, something hopefully
yeah,
it's gonna get done, because sometimes even the Supreme Court shut you down quick when you talk about they judges, boy. So it's very hard to overstep a judge. That's one thing that I've learned from the past. It's very hard. But you can't do it because they're not perfect, and they're not always right as well.
That's true. That's true. So, shout out to the victims, the victim family. May they be with God, and God be with the family, friends, and loved ones.
Yes, because these little girls, they got done really bad. And if you're not familiar with the case, I advise you to go out there and look at the case, because as parents, it will also teach you a lesson once you research this case. You have to know what your kids is doing on social media. We have to know. We can't just give our kids these cell phones and just think that they're doing everything that they're supposed to do, or the parental things is on there, so I know what they're doing. No, you don't. We have to pay attention to our kids, have to pay attention to our children, especially at that age, because in the social media world, they come in contact with all kind of people that represent they say they are. And so if not anything, parents, pay attention to your kids. Go look at this case and learn something from it. As for parenting your kids, learn something from it. Adrian, as always, I thank you for coming on, being my co-host. You do an amazing job. I love your advice on things. I even love you, love. Okay, you get a little groove on.
Just a little bit.
Little bit. All right, audience, if you haven't already, go out to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Like, share Facebook, like, share Twitter,
Yeah.
like, share TikTok, like, share Instagram, and I'm gonna start putting this on Snapchat too. So we on
Yeah.
social media platforms. Like, share, and subscribe. Chic, my chat liner. Thank you for stopping in, girlie.
Yeah.
You know I love you as always. Sheikah said, you guys are awesome. Thank you. I always look forward to listening to you guys on Tuesday. We love you too, Chic, and we will see you guys next Tuesday, Adrian. Same place, same time. Be on time this time, Mr. I'm on time all the time.
Oh man, well, my
Tell
day
you
was
about
crazy.
that one. Yeah, got
It's
you on
good
that
though.
one.
I'm here.
All right, Adrian. I'll see you next time. Peace. We out.
Peace.